Having broken links on a website, of course, is not great for visitors or for search engine optimization. So it's important to be able to check those links. And this is about a plugin for WordPress that will do just that. Now, of course, there are lots of options for checking links like this. You could just do it manually, but of course, as soon as you get enough links on a site, it's a lot of work to keep going through that. There is the free service like W3C Link Checker. You just enter the URL. You tell it to check linked documents recursively, in other words, to try and go through links within the site and check other pages. Make sure your depth is not too high on this. I do 1 or 2 at least. If you do too many on a dynamic site like a WordPress site, you can run into a huge long process. So it goes and checks and it tells us, yes, we've got a broken link, and that's great. But to get your client to do this on a regular basis, for any of us to do this, it's just crazy to manually go in and do this kind of checking. And that's why this plugin for WordPress is highly recommended. There really is only just this one that does link checking, and it's well used and has been running for quite a long time. It does use your database resources, and I'll talk about that a little bit later, but this really does work quite nicely. Here's what it looks like in WordPress. And this link right here is our only one right now that's broken, but it gives you that information right away. You can check any link at all. Here they all are, so it's found every single link, and it did this within seconds of installing the plugin. If you've got a lot of links, the first time you install this, it may take a while, of course, to find them all and check them all. But once it does, then it rechecks them. And this is where the resources issue comes in. If I go to settings here, this is running in your database, so it's using your tables, it's using resources, and depending on what you set here, now for example this is set for every 3 days, it's going to be checking for broken links. That's fairly reasonable. You don't want to do it too often because that's going to take up a lot of resources. By the way, it can email you notifications, but there's many ways you get notified. For example, down here you can see the little number there, tells you how many broken links you've got right now. There's a lot going on in here, and you can set some things for your server just to make sure that it's not using up too much resources. Once your server load reaches this limit, it'll stop link checking, so it won't burden your server even more. So that's great. There's lots of ways to configure this. But one of the things I love about this is it's very, very quick. Let's go back over here. I'm just going to put in another link into here. Let's just highlight this, and we'll give it a link. And I'll just put in something that I know is not actually working. Testme.html. Okay, so I've just added a link there. I update it. Let's go back to our link checker. Now watch this. Broken links. Look at that. It already found it. So it's constantly monitoring your links. Instantly tells me that there's something wrong. Now, the other thing we can do, if we go back to settings here, this is kind of cool. You can tell it, if there's a broken link, format it a certain way. In fact, you can even change the CSS for this, but I'll just use the default here. And if I go back over to here and I refresh, watch what happens to these 2 links. They're actually crossed out. So if you didn't happen to be checking your admin screens, this is going to show, as soon as a link breaks, it's going to show it visually to you. And again, you could figure exactly how it shows it. This is maybe a little confusing to visitors, so you might want to maybe change the color. And so you know if it's this color, it must be a broken link. However you want to do it, or however your client feels comfortable, you can set it up that way. So that's a really powerful sort of plugin, and it will keep doing this. It just keeps on doing it. Let me also show you this. It gives you all the details. I love that it shows you the link text, which is also great for search engine optimization. You can quickly go, if I check over here are all my links, I can quickly check through and go, oh gee, that's not a very useful link, or this one's not very helpful. I need more information for SEO purposes and visitor purposes. So it's a great way of checking your link text. But the other thing I love is it tells you information. If you click on the status here, there's all the detail that it's capturing for you. That's what I mean about resources in the database. There's a fair bit there. If I go over to those broken links, watch this, it'll tell me how long it's been broken for. So that's kind of nice to know. This one we just did recently. This one we just did, a minute ago. But it tells you how long it's been on for. So a very, very powerful and useful plugin that will make life a lot easier for your clients.